upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful as a man as to promote your glory, your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Clerk.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, good evening. Welcome back from the long recess. I hope you did enjoy your Christmas and Happy and New Year festivities. I take this opportunity to welcome you to the second session of the Third Assembly, and I wish we will have a fruitful engagement. I'm happy also to inform you, this Honorable House, that our plenary sessions now will be aired live on our official YouTube page and all Facebook channels, and also members of the public can follow these proceedings. That is on YouTube. Will be found at UGCA Gishu County Assembly. That is the champions, and also the Facebook. You have it will be found UGCA Gishu County Assembly. So, honorable members, welcome to this house back. Thank you. Clerk.
Order number 3, messages.
Clerk.
Order number 4, petitions.
Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to lay the following papers. That is the report on the various committees on the approval hearing of the various chief officers to the various departments. With me, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have 13 reports from the various committees. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, after the laying of the 11 reports, after being properly tabled, I now direct that the same report be consolidated as one. So, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I again rise to now lay on the table of this assembly a consolidated report of all the 11 reports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Clerk.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to move the following give notice of the following motion. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 28 of the County Assembly Standing Orders, this County Assembly to approve the calendar of the Third Assembly, second session, Part 1 to Part 6. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gilbert Chepkong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to give notice of motion aware that another committee was constituted by this Honorable House on 1st December 2022 to investigate 2 petitions of great public interest. One on Finland scholarship programs through Uasin Gishu County Government, and on first choice recruitment and consultancy agency petition, which is accused of swindling innocent residents of Uasin Gishu with promise of jobs in Qatar and overseas countries. Further aware that the ad hoc committee was given 30 days to complete its investigation, another extension was sought on 12th January 2023 for another 21 days to 14th February 2023. Noting that the ad hoc committee has invited and heard the petitioners and several witnesses on both petitions, and because of the complex nature of the investigations, the ad hoc committee has once again run out of time. Therefore, the ad hoc committee seeks further extension of time by 10 days, starting today, Tuesday, 14th February 2023, to Monday, 27th February 2023, to allow it to complete its investigation and write a report. The ad hoc committee urges this Honorable House to allow for this request of extension of time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise to give notice of the following motion, that this County Assembly do adopt the report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as chief officers by sectoral committees dated 10th February 2023 and tabled in the House today, 14th February 2023, with or without amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Clerk.
Order number 7, statements.
Clerk.
Supplementary orders of the day. Order number 8, motion and bills.
Clerk.
Order number 9, motion.
Majority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion, that pursuant to Standing Order number 28 of the County Assembly Standing Orders, this County Assembly do approve the calendar of the Third Assembly, second session, Part 1 to Part 6. Mr. Speaker, sir, we know that the County Assembly is a house of rules and procedures, And Mr. Speaker, one of the procedures that we follow in this House is to follow the calendar. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for welcoming us back from recess. I was taken aback when you said that you hope that we enjoyed the new year. And Mr. Speaker, I was thinking the last time we were in this House, the Speaker, was around November last year. That was before Christmas. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it has been a long time. I also wish to, at this point, welcome members and say thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for welcoming us back. This second session, Mr. Speaker, I propose the following. That we begin today, 14th February, which coincidentally is the Valentine's Day. And as I look around, Mr. Speaker, I see members who are compliant and those who are not. Nevertheless, I want to wish every one of us happy Valentine's. So beginning today, Mr. Speaker, we propose that our normal session begins today and ends on Wednesday, 1st March 2023. And Mr. Speaker, that will take us to our first short recess. Our first short recess, Mr. Speaker, begins on 2nd March 2023 to Monday, 13th March 2023. That is a short recess of 11 days. The second part of this second session, Mr. Speaker, will begin on Tuesday, 14th March, which will run up to Wednesday, 12th April 2023. And that will take us up to 12th, which allows us to go on another recess from 13th April to Monday, 15th May 2023. That's a period of 1 month, which we are taking recess. The Speaker, on this part 3 of this second session, will begin on 16 May 2023 and will end on Wednesday, 21st June 2023. The Speaker, that takes us to another short recess of 10 days, which begins on 22nd June 2023 up to 15 May. That will be a Monday, 15 May 2023. The Speaker, sir, part 3. Part 4, Mr. Speaker, sir, so I'm sorry. Part 4 allows us to come back on 4th July 2023 and will take us up to Wednesday, 9th August 2023, which takes us to another short recess of 1 month, and that begins on 10th August to Monday, 11th September 2023. Part 5, Mr. Speaker, begins on 12th September 2023 up to Wednesday, 25th October 2023. And that gives us another recess which begins on Thursday, 26th October 2023 up to Monday, 6th November 2023. And the last part, Mr. Speaker, of this session begins on November 7th up to December 6th, which sees us up to December 7th, where now we take the long recess up to 13th February 2024. The Speaker, all these dates have been proposed, taking into consideration the amount of work that we have, and also taking into consideration, Mr. Speaker, that members have, beside this, the business of the House, we have other businesses out there that needs our attention. Mr. Speaker, our electorate wants us to consult with them over issues that matters to them in the communities. Mr. Speaker, I know that when we were in the long recess, we were able to get in touch with our electorate. We were able to be with them during the December holidays up to January, when they were taking their children back to school. Mr. Speaker, it is a very important time when we are on recess, because we sit and reflect on the activities that the members of the public has given to us, Mr. Speaker, because it is important so that when we come back to the House, we are able to discuss issues that we have actually sat down with the communities, with women groups, with the youth groups, so that we can discuss over them in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I know that we have so much. It was very difficult to process this calendar, because this year, Mr. Speaker, we have so much work ahead of us, so much activities. So we have tried to slot in some few days so that members can take recess, members can take time off, members can retreat to write reports, because we have so much reports on our tables, Mr. Speaker. We have bills, we have motions, we have committees that have pending businesses to deliberate on. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the proposal that we have, and I would wish to request that we adopt this calendar so that, Mr. Speaker, this year will be smooth for us because we have so much to discuss. Of note, Mr. Speaker, down there we have 3 points that we want to bring to the attention of the House. Mr. Speaker, that the County Assembly shall sit from 9:30 for the morning sessions to 12:30 p.m. and in the afternoon sessions starts with from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30. And this is in pursuant to Standing Order number 31 of the County Assembly Standing Orders. The second point that we want to note, Mr. Speaker, is special sittings shall be notified through Kenya Gazette notices as per Standing Orders 29.1 of the County Assembly Standing Orders. The third point, Mr. Speaker, and which you have already communicated to the House, is that the sittings will be conducted on an hybrid mode, both physically and electronically. And I want to thank you and your office, Mr. Speaker, for making it possible for members of public to follow the proceedings of the House through the various media that you have already communicated. Mr. Speaker, this point number 3, I note that it is still work in progress, and I would want to also thank you for committing to make sure that this assembly is compliant so that members can have that hybrid mode of transacting business in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I would wish to request the Honorable Deputy Speaker to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose a question that pursuant to Standing Order number 28 of the County Assembly Standing Orders, this County Assembly do approve the calendar of that Assembly second session part 1 to part 6 debate. Honorable Amos Kipton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, before I commence, I want to wish all of us happy Valentine. Indeed, it's being celebrated all over the world, and it's good that I mention it. Mr. Speaker, I stand in support of the motion moved by the Leader of Majority, Honorable Julia Sang. And Mr. Speaker, I think it is provided under our Standing Order number 31 that the calendar of the business of this House has to be approved by this House. And Mr. Speaker, I want to support it because this gives the schedule on how we are going to conduct business in this assembly. And on this, to be specific, it is the business of the plenary. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to agree because it has been tailor-made to suit the commitment of the members and a number of programs that are before us. Because, Mr. Speaker, we need to have recess so that members can have time and do other roles, being oversight. And Mr. Speaker, we can do oversight while we are in the plenary session and in the committee sitting. So, Mr. Speaker, I do support. And I also want to bring to the attention of members that for those of us who have been here for some time, this is now the very crucial moment of our role as representatives, where we are going to deal with numerous bills, policies, and some regulation that will assist the government of Uasin Gishu, headed by His Excellency Kotimoja, to execute and to serve people of Uasin Gishu. So I want to request that as we approve this calendar, it is good that we commit our time so that we dispense all these business that are before us, because it has to be in tandem with the manifesto of the current administration. And Mr. Speaker, I want also to bring to the attention that we shall have about 4 consecutive long sessions, but come 2026, 2027, we shall have the shortest ever. And that is the time that I want to confess that the concentration of members and the stability will have been disturbed because of the politics that would have come up at that time. So I want to encourage all of us, let's make use of these long sessions that we have been given by the leader of majority for this period. Because the first session was when we were sworn in September, and it ended December. Now we are beginning the second session, beginning today, up to the end, up to December 6th. That we shall come the end of the second session. And then the third session will start next year. And I want to assure you, as we climb up, the cooler it becomes. So, honorable members, I want to request all of us, let's support it. And it will be hotter, it will be hotter, not cooler. It is the reverse in this scenario. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support, and I request to the rest of the colleagues to support the same. Thank you.
Honorable David Letting.
Our Speaker, members and executive, good afternoon.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Where's it, Honorable Amos?
Okay.
Forgive me. Members, what I want to say, I want to support what Mr. Amos say. Honorable Amos.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Amos. We are still learning, Honorable Amos, so don't worry. But what I have here to say, we have to be serious, like what Honorable Amos say, because sometimes we are here, we came here to be in our committee, but we never get some members. Some members is too busy. So I want to request the members to be here in time, so that in this early time we have to proceed with the meetings, because when we absent on several times, it is not good, because it is still early. So that is what I was requesting the members to do. Thank you.
Honorable Shah. Honorable David Keitan.
Thank you for the opportunity, Honorable Speaker. though I was not ready to comment on anything on this one, but I support the motion. Thank you.
Honorable Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support, and I just wanted to point out something on our approved Assembly second session. That is part 3 that we have introduced, and I'm really happy because of that. That is really wonderful. The sittings will be conducted on hybrid mode, both physical and electronically. Maybe I can just request a bit, because when they are airing out, I don't know if you've watched there in our, you can see sometimes when somebody is talking and the members are watching down, the members of the public may think the members are resting their eyes. So maybe we can try and adjust a bit so that when members will be watching, they will not be able to take some photos and say, "Look at my member was sleeping." Maybe they will be using that. They will be using that word. He was sleeping in the plenary, but yet it is because maybe the cameras are picking from above. So maybe I request that so that the faces can be seen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Honorable Isaac Kirchir.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nasimama kuunga mkono hoja hili kwamba nyaraka zetu na wakati kipindi hiki cha pili ja bunge hili lipate kurekebisha jinsi ambavyo utendakazi wake ulikuwa ukiendelea. Mheshimiwa Spika, utakuta ya kwamba waheshimiwa wajumbe watakuwa na muda mufti ambao watakuwa wanaitilia mkazo kazi za kamati zao siku ya Jumatatu na Alhamisi, na Jumanne na siku ambayo inayofuata watakuwa wanazingatia mambo ya bunge. Nataka kuomba wajumbe hao ya kwamba ikiongozwa na wenyekiti wa kamati mbalimbali ya kwamba biashara ya bunge hili lipate kutiliwa mkazo, na sisi wote tufanye hivyo ili kwamba tuipate kuipatia wananchi wa Uasin Gishu haki yao ya kuwakilishwa vizuri. Mheshimiwa Spika, kipindi ambayo tunaenda ni kwamba ni kipindi ambayo ni ya kazi ngumu, kwamba tunarejelea katika ile mkao wa mwaka wa 23-24 na ambao kazi yake inatiliwa msingi kwa sasa hivi. Itakuwa ni muhimu sana wajumbe waheshimiwa katika kamati zote waitilie kazi, kwa sababu katika ile muhula tuko kwa sasa tumebaki na muda chache sana kuimaliza ile mkao wa maendeleo katika kaunti letu, na sasa hivi tutahitaji taarifa ya mapendekezo kutoka mawaziri ili tupate kuijua wamepangilia vipi katika zile mkao wa maendeleo katika kaunti letu. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni wakati muhimu ambapo tu lazima tujiunge. Nataka kushukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa ile urefu wa tumekuwa nje ya kikao, na waheshimiwa wote tumefika tukiwa salama salamini na jamii zetu. Sasa ni wakati wa kuitilia kazi katika bunge hili. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, naiunga mkono.
Mheshimiwa Maina Wachira.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii. Kwanza nataka niwatakie waheshimiwa wetu wote pamoja na wananchi wa jimbo hili letu siku ya wapendanao ya mafanikio, kwa sababu ni siku ambaye tunaiheshimu. Jambo la kwanza, nimesimama hapa kuunga hoja hii mkono kwa sababu ninaamini ya kwamba utendaji kazi ambaye sisi zote tumepatiwa na taifa letu la Kenya na wananchi kufanya, hatuna budi ila tu kuendelea mbele. Hivyo basi, bila mukshil wala bugdha, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ninaunga mkono 100%. Nataka niwahakikishie ya kwamba kwa sababu meli tayari imeshanoa nanga, hatuna la ziada, ni kuendelea mbele. Kwa hivyo asanteni sana na tuko pamoja.
Thank you, honorable members, for that contribution. I now put a question that pursuant to Standing Order number 28 of the County Assembly Standing Orders, this County Assembly do approve the calendar of the Third Assembly, second session, part 1 to part 6. As many of that similar opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many of the similar opinion, contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Order number 10, motion.
Honorable Gilbert Chepkonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And members of this House, I want to echo my colleagues by wishing everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And I'm privileged to sit next to a member who has perfectly complied or observed the tradition of our state. Honorable Speaker, I arise to move the following motion that the County Assembly received a petition on 23rd November 2022 from Ruben Jepses, Arab Koech, on Finland scholarship programs through Uasin Gishu County Government, and another one from 14 petitioners on first choice recruiting and consultancy agency, raising several weighty matters on investigations. The petition made the requirements of the form of petitions as provided for in Standing Order 209 and the fourth schedule of Uasin Gishu County Assembly Standing Orders. Subsequently, pursuant to Standing Orders number 213, subsection 1, another committee was constituted by the resolution of the House, comprising of 15 members on
Honorable Chepkonga, I don't know what you are reading is not in what is in there. You can read this motion, then you can expound further than.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm advised that we are in a Valentine mood, and maybe this is the reason why there is this mishap. Honorable Speaker, aware that the Hado Committee was constituted by this Honorable House on 1st December 2022 to investigate two petitions of great public interest, one on Finland scholarship programs through Uasin Gishu County Government, and on first choice recruitment and consultancy agency petition, which is accused of swindling innocent residents of Uasin Gishu with promise of jobs in Qatar and other overseas countries. Further, aware that the ADO committee was given 30 days to complete its investigation, another extension was sought on 12th January 2023 for another 21 days to 14th February 2023. Noting that the ADO committee has invited and heard the petitioners and several witnesses on both petitions because of the complex nature of the investigations, the ADO committee has once again run out of time. Therefore, the ADO committee, Mr. Speaker, seeks further extension of time by 10 days to starting from Tuesday, 14th February 2023 to Monday, 27th February 2023, to allow it complete its investigation and write a report. The other committee urges this Honorable House to allow for this request of extension on time. Honorable Speaker, we have come far from this, from where we started since the inception of this HADO committee. We have prosecuted the matter, and there are areas where we feel that we need to prosecute in order to inform this committee on the recommendations to arrive at. Honorable Speaker, there are a lot of names that have been mentioned here that needs their input for us to have a better report in terms of all the 2 petitions. Honorable Speaker, we are asking for an extension of time so that it allows the members to address those issues and again have time to write the report. You will know, Honorable Speaker, that some names and prominent names like former governor was in Gishu County, leaders of standing repute in this republic were mentioned here. We are yet to sit down as the committee really to look into it, to find the merit of whether we'll need them to appear before this committee in order to shed more light on what happened on petition, on the first choice petition. Honorable Speaker, we've had a very tight schedule, noting that we had further engagements as the House in approving the nominees, the chief officer nominees. We also have had, even today morning, we had a sitting as the other committee to deal with one of the invited visitor to shed more light on the agents that were dealing with our students who are in Finland. And there are a lot of issues that we still need to handle before we give an authoritative report to this House. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm asking this House, honorable members, that you consider this motion and approve so that we have the said days to put this matter into conclusive rest. Honorable members, I want to appreciate the time that we've had in engaging this and promise that by having the said days added to this committee, we will be able to do a good job, write a good report, and table it to this House. For those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I wish to invite Honorable Francis Muya to second. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising to second the motion that has been moved by the chair ad hoc committee. Mr. Speaker, I'm realizing that we are growing taller and taller each and every day, that our mic are not fitting any member here. Something needs to be done so that we can be using them comfortably. Mr. Speaker, I'm standing to second the motion that has been moved by my able chair of ad hoc committee for a simple reason. Mr. Speaker, the task that this assembly gave us by the wisdom of you, the Speaker, was much important for the sake of the great people of Uasin Gishu. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this is one committee that has risen the bar of this assembly, because once the media team was facilitated, we came to realize that we were on air each and every time we were here. And I can tell you that wherever we have been going, we didn't know that this matter had affected many when we started. But I can tell you that honorable members have received calls, even from their constituents, whom were the majority but silent. We didn't know that most of our people have been affected by whatever we were trying to prosecute. And the chair can tell you that even there are people who have appeared before this committee, and we didn't have intention at the beginning to meet them. But as we were going on, evidence were coming out, and we felt as a committee we want to give justice to everybody, both the petitioner and those whom had been alleged. And therefore, we didn't have any other choice than to go deeper the way we have gone. As the chair have just put it, today morning, we received the CEO of one of the agencies that the county official alleged that they were using. But it is coming out very clear that there are more and more information that are coming out day by day. But nevertheless, this work one day has to come to an end. And that's why the chair is categorically asking for only 10 days. Was it not because of the vetting of the CEO's report that we are about to pass that it affected our calendar? We could not have requested for extension of time, because we are aware that the more we keep this information, the more our people are feeling aggrieved, because justice delayed, it's being said, justice delayed, it is justice denied. Therefore, even as a committee, we would like to bring this issue at hand to an end. We give recommendation so that it can be taken from there, that anybody from this honorable house can come up with a motion from that report for further prosecution. The petitioner, if the report will give more evidence, they can decide to go to the next level. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a competent team. In fact, we were really humbled by some of the friends of this committee, that sometimes we think that they are our members. They have never missed in our sittings. They have given us maximum support. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you that you have the best assembly. And I want to say that the people of Uasin Gishu, there is no any other way. This is an assembly that you can believe in. This is an assembly that you can trust, and they are ready to go to the latter to make sure that we have represented our people the way they are supposed to be represented. Mr. Speaker, I am supporting the motion by requesting these honorable members. We saw you coming into this committee to help us prosecute this matter. You could see even today, members did not go for their tea until 1. It tells you that this is a very, very heavy matter, and we are giving it all as a committee. Therefore, I'm requesting this honorable house, these honorable colleagues, kindly consider approving what has been sought by our chair, only 10 days, so that we finalize on this matter. By the time we'll be bringing a report at the floor of this honorable house, it will be a report that every other assembly in the Republic of Kenya would like to come and page mark. Time are gone where members of the public will be admiring, seeing the like of Honorable Kalawale, the senator, prosecuting matters affecting public. Even other assemblies, the county assemblies, it is being said that county assembly are a replica of the National Assembly. Whatever is being done in the National Assembly can well be prosecuted in the county assembly, so long as it's a matter affecting people of that county. Therefore, days are gone for honorable members to be seen as if they are councillors. No, these are honorable members who are capable, who have potential to be MPs, who are, have potential to be governors, like the former leader of majority of Nairobi County. Today he's a governor in Isiolo. What am I saying? I'm really humbled by this Lord, by these honorable members. They are committed. The like of Honorable Reting. He is a man that when he came here, people were saying that he did not go to school. But today he can stand and debate fully in English. We are really proud. And we want to encourage that because we are learning day by day. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I want to end there by asking the whole Honorable House to find it fit to approve this motion that we have just asked for 10 days so that we can finish this matter. With those many remarks, I support. Thank you. I second. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put a question that aware that the ad hoc committee was constituted by this honorable house on 1st December 2022 to investigate the two petitions of great public interest, one on Finland scholarship program through UGCA Gishu County government and on first choice recruitment and consulting agency petition which is accused of swindling innocent residents of UGCA Gishu with promise of jobs in Qatar and other overseas countries. Further aware that ad hoc committee was given 30 days to complete its investigation, another extension was sought on 12 January 2023 for another 21 days to 14 February 2023. Noting that the ad hoc committee has invited the head and aired the petitioners, and several witnesses on both petitions, and because of the complex nature of investigations, the ad hoc committee has once again run out of time. Therefore, the ad hoc committee seeks further extension of time by 10 days, starting today, Tuesday, 14 February 2023 to Monday, 27th February 2023 to allow its complete investigations and write a report. The ad hoc committee urges this honorable House to allow for this request of extension of time. Debate. Honorable Benjamin Atu.
Basi asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi hii. Kwanza nataka nitumie nafasi hii nishukuru kwa ajili ya muda huu ambaye tumekuwa labda kwenye likizo, na waleo Mungu ameweza kutujalia tumekutana tukiwa wazima. Pia nataka nitumie nafasi hii nishukuru sana kwa sababu ya kazi ambayo ad hoc committee wameweza kuwa wakifanya. Tumeona sana, tumekuwa tukiona kwa umbali na kwa ukaribu kazi ambayo mmekuwa mkifanya, na mimi nataka niseme nashukuru, na jinsi sisi kama bunge la kaunti hili tulipoweza kuwapa nafasi hiyo ni kwa sababu tulikuwa tunawaamini. Na hivyo basi nataka niseme tuko na imani na nyinyi na tunajua ya kwamba mtaweza kutekeleza ile malilio ya mwananchi ambaye ni ule Wanjiko. Kwa hivyo nataka niseme niko na imani na mimi najua ya kwamba kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Mwenyekiti umekuwa ukifanya kazi, najua kusimamia ama kuongoza sio kazi rahisi. Nataka niseme asante sana Mheshimiwa Chepkonga na team ya ADOC yote tumekuwa tukiwaona na tunatarajia ushindi katika kazi hii. Kwa hivyo sina budi bali nataka niseme tu ya kwamba kwa sababu sisi tunaelewa tulipofika maneno ya CEOs tulikuwa na challenge na kweli ilieleweka mungekuwa mmemaliza shughuli hii. Na hivyo basi mimi ni mmoja pia ambaye naunga mkono muweze kupata nafasi hii ambaye mmeomba ya siku 10 ili muweze kutekeleza kazi hii. Hivyo basi nataka niseme na watakieni kila laheri na tunawategemea kama wakaaji wa Uasin Gishu, kama MCS wa Uasin Gishu tunawategemea sana. Asanteni.
Honorable Thomas, you go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this chance. I've stood to support the motion tabled by Honorable Chair Gilbert Chepkonga. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that is somehow complicated. It has its own complexes, and I feel the time that the committee, the chair has requested, will help them to finalize. Mr. Speaker, this morning, as you have heard from the Vice Chair, we had the CEO of one of the agencies by the name Maxi Global, and from his presentation, we got so many information that I think this committee needs time to look at that, because there are some emerging evidences that I think the committee needs time to look at it seriously. Mr. Speaker, you realize that this issue, the two petition, has a lot of things inside that the committee needs a lot of time to come up with a proper report that will be tabled in this house, that will help this house do its role, the mandate of oversight, representation, and even come up with a recommendation that will help in future so that such things may not occur. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's prudent that we allow this committee the time they have requested so that they can work within the 10 days to come up with a proper report, because we also need to come up with a proper recommendation that will enable maybe in future further steps to be taken in case we find that there is somebody who maybe abused his office or somebody who neglected his or her duty. I think a recommendation will come from there and further actions will be taken from that report. So I stand to support, and I am sure that a proper report will be tabled in this house that will help us and even uplift the standard and the level of performance in this house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this time to contribute on the table motion. First of all, let me begin by thanking the ADO committee. I've happened to be a friend to the committee, and they've been doing a great work. Congratulations, members. Continue with the same spirit. Secondly, Speaker, all the Uasin Gishu residents are eagerly waiting for this report. They are aware of what is going on. So it is our request that this committee being given this time and I really support, so that they come up with a compiled report, a detailed one, which will impress the public and impress the residents of Uasin Gishu. We know that the report of this committee will directly reflect the picture of County Assembly of Uasin Gishu. And we all need a good picture. We all need a good reflection of us. So I really support that this committee being given the said days of 10 days, so that we can appreciate, and also the public will appreciate. And also the report, I believe that it will give a strong recommendation to save the future of our youths, so that we may run away from the same problem in this coming time, the 5 years and even the more years to be given here in Uasin Gishu. So I really support it. Is much in order for them to be given the time. Thank you.
Honorable Sarah Hamdi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, thank you for your prayers. I'm now with you here. Mr. Speaker, sir, I support the motion because we are here on behalf of the public. These children who had a hope, who came from a background, they didn't have anything. I attended some of the fundraising for these children. We did for them fundraising. They had a hope. Their parents wanted a different life for their kids, and now suffering. They are not in hell and they're not in heaven. They're just hanging there. Why do I say so? Because these kids now, they're not studying. They're just somewhere crying, depression. Their parents don't have anything. Not everyone is rich. Not everyone is, can afford to buy another scholarship. I think we have to support, and these children and parents should have justice. We should not deny them justice. We should give them justice. Not everybody feels happy seeing these children suffering, coming there up with a hope they wanted to go and change their lives. Some of them were not born in hospitals. They were born at home. They didn't have anything to eat, but God gave them the strength and gave them the brain, and they wanted to have a change in life and change life of their parents. But now there's somebody somewhere who scoundreled them and don't want to give these kids the chance. So they should come to book. We should give them the support. I think the chairman and the vice chairman and the whole committee, they're doing the right thing. We should not be afraid of anybody. We should only be afraid of God, the Almighty. Let's have justice for everybody. Let's know where the truth is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesimama ili niunge mkono hoja hii ambayo imetolewa na kamati. Kwanza kabisa nataka nishukuru kamati hili kuokoa sisi kwa mambo ambayo ilikuwa imeongelewa sana kwa hii kaunti, ili tujue kinakanaka ya kwamba ni nini ilifanyika, kwa sababu sisi tumechaguliwa na wananchi na lazima tusimame kwa niaba ya wananchi. Na vile mmetoa hiyo hoja ya kwamba tunataka tuongezee hiyo siku 10. Mimi kibinafsi nataka niunge mkono ya kwamba muongezewe hiyo siku 10 ili mtoe ripoti mzuri ambayo itasaidia wananchi na watoto wetu. Nimesimama mbele yenu ili niunge mkono wa moyo wangu wote. Asanteni sana.
Honorable members, thank you for your contribution. Aware that the ADO committee, I now put a question that aware that the ADO committee was constituted by this Honorable House on 1st December 2022 to investigate 2 petitions of great public interest, one on Finland scholarship programs to Uasin Gishu County Government, and on first choice recruitments and consultancy agency petition which is accused of swindling innocent residents of Uasin Gishu with promise for jobs in Qatar and other overseas countries. Further aware that the ad hoc committee was given 30 days to complete investigation. Another extension was sought on 12th January 2023 for another 21 days to 14 February 2023. Noting that the ad hoc committee has invited and heard the petitioner and several witnesses on both petitions, and because of the complex nature of investigations, the ad hoc committee has once again run out of time. Therefore, the ad hoc committee seeks further extension of time by 10 days, starting today, Tuesday, 14th February 2023, to Monday, 27th February 2023, to allow it to complete its investigations and write a report. The ad hoc committee urges this Honorable House to allow for this request of extension of time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, motion.
Majority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move the following motion: that this County Assembly do adopt the report on vetting of nominees for appointment as chief officers by sectoral committees dated 10th February 2023 and tabled in the House today, 14th February 2023, with or without amendments. Mr. Speaker, sir, with me is a report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as chief officers by sectoral committees. And I will go straight, Mr. Speaker, to looking at the report. This report contains proceedings of the County Assembly sectoral committees during the vetting of nominees to various departments as requested by His Excellency the Governor and communicated to the House and committed to corresponding committees by the Speaker on Thursday, 19th January 2023. The nominees were expected to pick questionnaires from the clerk, fill them and return on or before 31st January 2023. Pursuant to Section 45(1)(b) of the County Government Act, Section 7 of the Public Appointments County Assembly's Approval Number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order Number 51(1), His Excellency the Governor notified the County Assembly of the nomination of the under-listed 13 persons as chief officers to various departments of county government via a letter reference UGC/CS/ADM2/3Q/22 volume 11/47 in bracket 47 dated 13th December 2023, and the nominees are Mr. Ambrose Tarus Kiprotich, ID number 218-72-579, to the Department of Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. Number 2, Mrs. Ruth Samoei of ID number 8763-822 to the Department of Education and Vocational Training. Number 3, Dr. Paul Wangwe Ongeti, ID number 22608-3984 to the Department of Clinical Services. Number 4, Mrs. Joyce Sang of ID number 113-63-819 the Department of Health in promotive and preventative health. Number 5, Mrs. Marion Birgen, ID number 109-49-504, to the Department of Public Service Management. Number 6, Mr. Julius Koech of ID number 115-05-644 to the Department of Energy, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. Number 8, Mr. Nixon Cheblong, ID number 234-64-051, Department, Livestock and Fisheries. Number 9, Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget, ID number 2741-208 to the Department of Finance. Number 10, Mr. Abdirahman Muhammad Sangor, Department Public Service Management under Partnerships Liaisons and Linkages. Number 11, Mr. Speaker, is Mrs. Naum Chelagat Tirop, ID number 237-15-061, Department of Youth and Sports. Mrs. Eunice Chemtai Suter, ID number 117-33-26, Department Gender, Social Protection and Culture. Number 13, Mr. Speaker, sir, is Mr. Elijah Koech, ID number 259-78-128, Department Agriculture and Agribusiness. While referring the matter to the committees, the Speaker directed that the committees undertakes the vetting exercise within 21 days, pursuant to Section 9 of the Public Appointments, County Assembly Approvals, or Act number 5 of 2017. The Speaker further directed the clerk to the County Assembly to notify the nominees and the general public by placing advert in at least 2 newspapers of nationwide circulation and the County Assembly website of the time and place of holding the approval hearings by Friday, 20th January 2023, and that is pursuant to Section 7.4 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5. In compliance with Section 5 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5 of 2017, the clerk to County Assembly placed an advert in print media on Friday, 20th January 2023, informing the public of the nomination, date, time, place of the approval hearing. He also invited the public to submit memoranda by way of written statements on oath, that is affidavit, on the suitability of the new nominees in conformity with Section 710 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5. The memoranda were to be received on or before 31st January 2023. At the close of submission deadline, no committee has received any memoranda for or against the nominee's suitability. The nominees appeared before the various committees on Wednesday, 1st February 2023 and Thursday, 2nd February 2023 for vetting. The committees examined the suitability of the nominees based on criteria set out in Section 8 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5. In addition, the committees examined their academic credentials, relevant experience, knowledge of sector issues, and matters of leadership and integrity. The committees paid due regard to the procedure used to arrive at the nominees, the constitutional or statutory requirements relating to the offices in question, and suitability of the nominees for the appointment proposed, having regard to whether the nominees' abilities, experiences, and abilities meet the needs of the respective county department. Mr. Speaker, sir, the various sectoral committees, having held the approval hearing regarding the suitability of the nominees, observed that due process was followed in the recruitment process as provided for under Section 45(1)(b) of the County Government Act and Section 7 of the Public Appointments, and that is the County Assembly's Approval Act number 5. The various sectoral committees therefore recommends that this House approves the nominations of all the 13 names as chief officers. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 45(1)(b) of the County Government Act and Section 7 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5 and provisions of Standing Orders number 51(1), it is my pleasure, duty to present the report on the vetting of the nominees for appointment to the offices as chief officers for debate and adoption by the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, the various sectoral committees are established under Standing Order 2021, whose functions, pursuant to Standing Order 20251, states that to vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the County Assembly to approve. Mr. Speaker, sir, the sectoral committees were constituted by this House on 27th October 2022 and on 3rd November 2022, whose composition is as captured in the report of the selection committee approved in this House. Mr. Speaker, the legal framework that guided the operations of the various sectoral committees, Section 30D and 45(1) and Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5 and the County Assembly Standing Order number 51(1) and 202. Mr. Speaker, sir, although the Constitution does not specifically provide for the qualifications of appointment or nomination of a chief officer, the schedule to the Public Appointments County Assembly's Approval Act number 5 of 2017 provides the criteria as follows. And this includes education, employment record, public office, political activities and affiliations, deferred income or future benefits, sources of income, tax status, statement of net worth, potential conflict of interest, pro bono, or charity work. Whether the nominee has been charged in a court of law or convicted. And the last one is adverse mention in an investigatory report of a county assembly committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, in concluding the vetting, the committees were guided by Section 45(1)(b) of the County Governments Act and Section 7 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5 of 2017, which outlines the process of appointment or vetting of the nominees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committees held their meetings to consider this subject matter on February 1st and 2nd of this year, 2023, following the vetting schedule. The committees considered their rules of procedure during the exercise and agreed on a framework for the vetting. The committees were in this process guided by the relevant provisions of the County Government Act, the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5, and the County Assembly Standing Orders. In the same meetings, the committees invited the nominees to appear before it on 1st February and 2nd February this year as scheduled and communicated. The Speaker, sir, the committee held subsequent meetings on 6th through 9th February of this year in Nairobi to draft and consider their various reports, and the various reports of these committees contain the recommendations based on the information gathered during the course of the vetting and approval hearings of the nominees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee examined the nominees using the guidelines provided in the Public Appointments County Assembly Approvals Act number 5. The committees also considered the following in vetting the nominees. Number 1, academic qualifications. Number 2, employment record and work experience. Number 3, professional association. Number 4, public office, political activities and affiliations. Number 5, potential conflict of interest. Number 6, suitability to the position. Number 7, tax compliance. Number 8, vision and leadership. Number 9, integrity. Number 10, expectations and key priorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to delve on each nominee's suitability or otherwise as reported by each committee. Further details are found in each of the sector committees' report. In making these observations on the suitability of the nominees for appointment to the various departments, the committees took into account the following: the provisions of the Constitution, the County Government Act, the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5, and with regard to the process of appointment of chief officer. A, the views received from public. B, vetting questionnaire filled and returned by the nominee. C, the academic and professional certificates submitted by the nominee. And D, the oral submissions made by the nominee during the approval hearing. Sir Speaker, I wish to start with the first nominee, and that is Mr. Ambrose Tarus, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. On academic qualifications, Mr. Speaker, the committee noted he submitted the following. He holds Bachelor of Arts degree in Counseling Psychology from African Nazarene University. He also holds a diploma in counseling, Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. He is currently pursuing a master's degree in arts in counseling psychology at Kisii University. He has a certificate in HIV testing and counseling from NASCOP. He holds a P1 teacher training certificate from Tambach Teacher Training College. He holds Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, where he had a B-. He holds a Certificate of Primary Education, KCPE. On the employment record, the Speaker, he submitted that he worked under the TSC as a P1 teacher and therefore had an opportunity to serve as a deputy head teacher at Kimumu Primary School, where he demonstrated professional ethics and code of conduct in field of discipline, record keeping, among others. He is currently serving as Director, Daraja Counseling Center, duties being financial management, capacity building, management of temporary staff, marketing, and presenting the organization meetings. He has served as Director of Counseling in Haven Recovery Center, where he was tasked with responsibility on issues relating to capacity building for members of staff, supervision of client treatment, and chairing weekly review cases, and also doing group counseling. He has previously served as a counseling consultant to various institutions and organizations. He therefore managed to identify various talents, inspiring many and encouraging people in various fields, as well as providing children or learners and instilling hope to the families and society at large. He is currently serving as a part-time lecturer at Kenya Association of Professional Counselors, duties being computer proficiency in recording and submission of information, building teamwork, and institutional record keeping in an organization. He served as a supervisor for Kenya Bureau of Statistics, gaining operational skills in research, assessment, quality assurance, evaluation as the validity and reliability of a given task that is meant to create impact in the society. Maintenance of good relations with key stakeholders, public speaking, interpersonal skills, communication, and implementation a short structure formal communication. He authored and published 2 books for first being Unleashing the Power of Dreams, and second one, I Am Not Boarding. He has served as a deputy head teacher at Kimumu Primary School by deputizing the head teacher, discipline and counseling, counseling and guidance master, keeping all books of records, and later resigned from teaching in January 2017 to pursue other interests. He served as a P1 teacher at UGCA Prison Primary School between 2008 and December 2015, and duties being head of academic officer, examination department, and games master. He headed social studies panel by providing leadership in identifying opportunities and weaknesses by ensuring that issues are addressed timely through adequate planning within the school. He worked on management of skills in managing of budgets and resources of the departments to ensure that assets are secure and used in the most efficient and effective manner possible, and also ensuring success of plans implemented in the duties versus set objectives within the prescribed timelines. As head of social studies, he also gained knowledge and relationship skills through regular reviews, all activities to measure effectiveness and constantly factor feedback in future planning. The second nominee, Mr. Speaker, sir, is Mrs. Ruth Samoei, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Education and Vocational Training. She hails from Tarbo Sub-County, Kamagut Ward. She was born on December 21st, 1968. On academic credentials, she is undertaking an ongoing PhD program in SNE at Maseno University. She holds a Master of Education in SNE from Maseno University. She has a Bachelor of Education in Special Education from Kenyatta University. She has a certificate in Educational Functional Assessment from Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE. She has a diploma in SNE from KISE. Professional training and work experience. She has a vast and rich experience as a teacher, right from ECD to the tertiary level. She can do both teaching and interpret the sign language. She is computer literate. She is trained in educational functional assessment for children's special needs in education. She was a part-time lecturer at Bugema University between 2018 and 2021. She has been a teacher employed by TSC from 2012 to date as a teacher in regular schools, special schools, and teaching sign language, among others. She worked as a sign language interpreter at Kenya Children's Assembly between 2012 and 2017. She has an initiative to empower deaf persons in the county. She has an organization working towards youth empowerment known as Next Levels. She is an award winner by the Zuri Awards for Exemplary Service in Public Service. She was nominated by the Cambridge University Press Unit. She emerged among the top 10 teachers globally. On personal integrity, she submitted the following mandatory requirements as per Chapter 6 of the Constitution: Certificate of Good Conduct, CRB, ESCC, HELP, and Tax Compliance Certificate from KRA. Of course, we have all other testimonials as attached in the committee's report. The next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Dr. Paul Wangwe Ongeti, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Clinical Services. The committee, having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, ECV, and having had his oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observations on his suitability for the appointment as Chief Officer. Background: was born in November 9th, 1988. Elgon View was in Gishu. On academic qualification, he has Bachelor of Dental Surgery from Moi University College of Health Sciences. That was between the year 2008 and 2013. Diploma in French Language 2007. Certificate of Secondary Education from Alliance High School 203-206. Certificate of Primary Education from Testimony Primary School. On employment record, on his employment record, he has a cumulative working experience of 10 years. He's a CEO at Aquadent Company Limited from December 2016 to date. He has been the head of Department Dental Health at Malava Sub-County Hospital in Kakamega from 2017 to 2018. He has been the head of Department Dental Health Matungu Sub-County Hospital in Kakamega, and that on professional associations, the nominee is a member of Kenya Dental Association, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. On potential conflict of interest, there was no area that could create any political conflict of interest according to the field questionnaire by the nominee. That on integrity, he has fully complied with his tax obligation to the state as confirmed by the Kenya KRA tax compliance certificates dated 30th January 2023. The nominee provided a self-declaration form of leadership and integrity confirming that there is no outstanding issue or ongoing investigation against him. The nominee has also neither been charged in a court of law nor mentioned in any investigatory report or any commission of inquiry. Police clearance certificate number dated 30th August 2022 showing that the nominee had neither committed offense nor any trial in any courts. The nominee has also been cleared by Metro CRB. The nominee was cleared by HELP, and the clearance certificate dated 15th August 2022. Suitability for the position. On overall suitability for the position, the nominee has managerial experience and can handle the department effectively. He has successfully undertaken most of the leadership and in administrative training at the Kenya Dental Association Annual Scientific Conference and Exhibition, International Association for Dental Research Conference, Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Research in Oral Health. This training will enable him to discharge his mandate in a more efficient and effective way. He demonstrated ability to handle administrative and financial matters. He did a lot of research on health-related matters and was able to answer all questions posed to him. He satisfied the requirements of Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity, having been cleared, and he is enthusiastic and passionate on health matters. He is eloquent and confident in his presentation when he presented himself before the committee. He demonstrated that he is committed to work with professionals and all stakeholders through his experience. He is ready to work, to network and partner with relevant departments across the globe. He demonstrated that the county health department has trained health workers and with sound leadership and good administrative skills, he will be able to bring the health workforce together, promote teamwork and motivation of the workforce for quality service delivery to the residents of Uasin Gishu. He assured the committee that if given the opportunity to serve, he will have a harmonious relationship with the county assembly and other county departments, which will help play a key an important role in achieving the goals of the health department, since it is only in collaboration and consultation with the county assembly and with political goodwill that some of the challenges like poor road infrastructure that has led to inaccessibility to county health facilities can be resolved. And lastly, the nominee is suitable for the job. Next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mrs. Joyce Sang, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Promotive and Preventive Health. During its sittings held on Wednesday, 1st February 2023, at the main committee room, the committee vetted Mrs. Joyce Cheptolo Sang. The committee, having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, her CV, and having had her oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observations on her suitability for the appointment as Chief Officer. On background, Mr. Speaker, she was born on 28th December 1972 at Uasin Gishu County. On qualification, the nominee holds a Master of Clinical Nursing from Edith Cowan University in 2022. She has a Master of Healthcare Management from Murdoch University 2017. A certificate in Community Health Nursing from Moi University. Certificate in Community Health Nurse from Kakamega Medical Training Center, 1995 to 1998. Certificate of Secondary Education from Nakuru High School. Certificate of Primary Education from Kap Kenyeloi Primary School, 1986. On employment record, Mr. Speaker, she has a cumulative working experience of 23 years. She has worked in the various sectors and departments. One is clinical specialist and consultant at Royal Perth Hospital, Western Australia, rehabilitation nurse manager or quality assurance advisor at Amana Living Perth, still in Australia, clinical specialist at Viona Stanley Hospital, nurse manager at theatre at Waikiki Private Hospital in Perth, registered nurse at Hollywood Private Hospital, registered nurse International Center for Reproductive Health, Kenya. And lastly, she was a nurse manager, Elgon View Hospital and Moi and Teaching Referral Hospital from 1999. Professional association, the nominee, Mr. Speaker, is a member of Australian Medical Association, is a member of Australian Nursing Federation, Disability of Health Commission of Western Australia, and also she's a member of the Nursing Council, Kenya Nursing Council. On potential conflict of interest, there were no areas that could create any political conflict of interest according to the field questionnaire by the nominee. On integrity, remember the nominee was cleared by KRA, provided a self-declaration form of leadership and integrity. The nominee has also neither been charged in a court of law nor mentioned in any investigatory report or any commission of inquiry. Police clearance also, she was able to demonstrate. CRB, the nominee was cleared by HELP, and which is valid up to 30th of August 2023. Suitability to the position, Mr. Speaker, on overall suitability for the position, the nominee has a vast experience on matters health and demonstrated passion in the docket applied for. She has done a lot of research on health matters and was able to answer all questions posed to her. She satisfied the requirements for chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity. The nominee was conversant with the county health function as stipulated, including county pharmacy, ambulance services, and provision of primary health care. The nominee is ready to consult and work with all stakeholders to solve some of the human resource issues experienced in the past and bring health technical workforce together. Is ready and willing to learn through sensitization programs, staff trainings, mobilization, and team spirit. The nominee has plans to come up with daily dosage in the administration of drugs in the dispensaries, health facilities, and a sub-county hospital so as to effectively track and monitor the movement of drugs in these health facilities by installing e-system in all health facilities to curb drug theft and pilferages. She's willing to work and support all employees within the department, was able to demonstrate possible solutions on challenges facing health department. Demonstrated ability to establish an effective conflict resolution and efficient workforce. The other nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mrs. Marion Birgen Kitur, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Public Service Management. Mrs. Marion Birgen was orally interviewed by the committee and responded as on various issues as follows. On the background, Mrs. Marion Birgen Kitur is a Kenyan citizen of ID number that and was born in Ainapkoi, was in Gishu County in 1971. She holds a Masters of Education in Leadership and Policy Education from Moi University in 2011, a degree in Education Arts from Egerton University 1995. She did a KCSE in Moi Girls High School in 1985. Work experience, she has held several leadership positions in the education sector during her service as a career teacher. To date, she is a secretary, Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, Kesha, Nandi North Sub-County, and a secretary, AIC Principals Association in Nandi County. Mrs. Marion Birgen Kitur submitted that she is the current principal in Daladga Girls Secondary School in Nandi. She has served as a teacher for cumulative 28 years in various schools in the country. She indicated that she joined the public service in 1995 as a teacher in Tilol Secondary School and meticulously rose through the ranks in teaching profession to the current position as principal. Mrs. Marion Birgen exuded confidence that her steady experience being informed on matters human resource positions her as the right person with a grasp and understanding of the operations and management of Public Service Management Department. She was cleared by KRA, ORPP, by DCI, EFCC, and HELP. Suitability for the position. The nominee submitted to the committee all the documents required as per the letter sent by the clerk and duly filled vetting questionnaire. The committee was satisfied that the nominee has complied with and acquired the clearances as said before. The nominee further submitted and was also evident from the documents submitted that she has not been charged in a court of law nor convicted. Neither was adversely mentioned in an investigatory report of a county assembly or commission. Mr. Speaker, sir, the nominee's knowledge and understanding of matters public service management was substantial. The nominee is a Kenyan citizen education, qualification, and experience meets the requirement to hold the office of a chief officer. The nominee satisfies the requirements of Article 77, 1 of the Constitution, that she does not intend to participate in any way in any other gainful employment, and that she does not hold office in any political party, and that she has never been dismissed from office. The nominee is therefore generally fit to hold office as chief officer and complied with all necessary legal, constitutional, statutory, academic, professional, and ethical requirements to hold the office of the position of chief officer. The Speaker, sir, the next nominee is Mr. Julius Koech, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Housing and Urban Development. During these sittings held on Wednesday 1st at the County Assembly Chambers, the committee vetted Mr. Julius Kipsang Koech for the position of Chief Officer, Housing and Urban Development. The committee, having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, his CV, and having had his oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observations on his suitability for appointment as Chief Officer, Housing and Urban Development. He hails from Mgwen constituency, Kilibwoni Division, Terige location in Nandi. He was born on 22nd February 1973. In academic credentials, he is pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy in education in University of Pretoria, South Africa. He has a Master of Science, MSc in Human Resource Development from Moi University. In 2012, he got Master of Education degree from Moi University, and is still pursuing postgraduate diploma in international relations. In 2006, he graduated with a Bachelor of Education, second class upper division from Moi University. Professional training and work experience. He is currently the head of Governor's Delivery Unit, Nandi County Government. September 2017, he was the acting Chief Officer, Finance and Economic Planning, still in Nandi. From April 2014 to April 2018, he was the Chief Officer, Devolution and Special Programs in Nandi County. In 2009 to 2014, was a Program Officer, Administration and Finance, Africa Network for Internationalization of Education, ANIE of Moi University. 2009 to June 2009, he was the Administrative Officer, School of Environmental Studies, Moi University, from Moi University. He was a tutor at Mosorio Teachers Training College from May 2007 to December 2008. He also taught at Terike High School up to 2007. He was an assistant teacher at Lutiet in Nandi County. On professional membership, he is a member of African Network for Internationalization of Education. He's a member of Higher Education Research and Policy Network, HAPNET. He's a member of Kenya Educational Leadership and Management, KAEM. The next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mrs. Mary Chepkogei Kerich, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Energy, Environment, Climate Change, and Natural Resources. The committee, having considered the nominees' field questionnaire, CV, and oral submissions during the approval hearing, came up with the following observations on her suitability for appointment as as a chief officer. That on academic qualifications, the nominee holds a Bachelor of Education Arts from Moi University. On employment record, she has a cumulative work experience of 17 years. She was cleared by KRA, ORPP, DCI, ESCC, and HELP, and has all those clearance certificates. Suitability for the position. She demonstrated that she is a team player and willing to work with employees from other departments in executing her duties. She is very passionate about farming. She demonstrated leadership, negotiation, and mediation skills. Her working experience is relevant for the job applied, and she meets Chapter 6 requirements of the Constitution. Next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mr. Nixon Cheplong, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Livestock and Fisheries. His academic qualifications: the committee observed that he is currently pursuing a master's degree in agriculture, economics, and resource management from Moi University School of Business. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Economics and Resource Management from Moi University. He holds a diploma in farm management, agribusiness management from Egerton University. He holds a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, where he got a P plane. He holds a KCPE certificate. On employment records, the nominee has a cumulative working experience of 14 years. Where he worked as follows: 2019, breeding consultant, worldwide sires, East Africa, in charge of North Rift region. 2013, management consultant at Winco Enterprises Limited. 2010, managing director, Teta Dairy and Breeding Company Limited. 2010 to 2011, farm manager at Makongi Farm. 2010 to 2011, marketing manager, Super Sires Genetics Company Limited. And 2009, dairy consultant for Meli Farm. 2008 to 2011, assistant farm manager at Makongi Farm Limited. Suitability for the position. On the overall suitability for the position, the nominee has done extensive research on matters livestock management, demonstrated that he is a team player with excellent interpersonal leadership and communication skills. He is very passionate about farming, especially livestock and fisheries. He has good academic credentials, has vast knowledge in matters livestock and fisheries, demonstrated good organizational and planning for progress achievement, and his academic qualification and work experience is relevant for the position applied. He meets Chapter 6, where he was cleared by ESCC, his tax compliance certificate. He was cleared by HELP, cleared by DCI, and CRB. So, Speaker, the next nominee is Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Finance. Mr. Eliud Chemaget Kipkorir appeared before the committee on Thursday, 2nd February 2023 as from 8:46 a.m. and informed the committee that he is a resident of Kipkenya Ward. He is currently working as a political advisor to His Excellency the Governor of Uasin Gishu County. He has a cumulative working experience of 9 years, where he worked for 6 years as a banker at KCB Bank, 2 years as a finance director, Western Kenya region for Betting Company Limited, and 1 year as a director in his own private business. In academic qualifications, he is currently pursuing a master's degree in business administration finance option. He has a bachelor degree of science, basic science with IT, and he has completed part 2 of CPA. That he was recruited competitively by the Uasin Gishu County Public Service Board pursuant to Section 45(1)(a) of the County Government Act 2012, that he was nominated by His Excellency Governor pursuant to Section 45(1)(a) of the County Government Act. On issues integrity, he has been charged in a court of law but not convicted. He has been cleared by the relevant bodies, Kenya Police, KRA, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Metropol for CRB, and HELP. Suitability for the position. He has demonstrated knowledge of the roles to be performed by the chief officer, by the office of the chief officer, and requisite abilities, qualifications, and experience to serve as the chief officer finance. Pursuant to Section 710 of the Public Appointments, County Assembly Approval Act number 5, that provides that any person may, prior to the approval hearing and by written statement on oath, provide the clerk with the evidence contesting the suitability of candidates to hold office in which the candidate has been nominated. The clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media on Thursday, 19th, 2023, inviting the public to submit memoranda by way of written statement. In this regard, by close of business on Tuesday, 31st, 5 p.m., the committee had received one memoranda, and that is seen in Annex 5, and one petition that was later retracted on 31st January 2023. Both the petition and the letter recalling it are hereby attached as Annexure 3 and 4 respectively. And Mr. Speaker, on the affidavit, Mr. Aaron Kiprotich Rono. Mr. Aaron Kiprotich Rono is a resident of Uasin Gishu and deponent in the affidavit averred that Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget is unfit for appointment into public office. He further averred that the nominee has an ongoing criminal case at Iten Law Courts case number 151/2021 relating to conspiracy to defraud, stealing, handling stolen goods, and stealing by servant. The nominee does not possess the required competence, integrity, and suitability for an appointment to public office. The outcome of the court decision will have a huge bearing on the nominee's appointment to serve in a public office in view of the fact that he will be unfit for public office, and also for recovery on any proceeds of economic crime in the event the nominee is found liable. The Public Officer Ethics Act provides for certain obligations to be carried out by a public officer, which includes prohibition from unjust enrichment and avoiding cases of conflict of interest. The County Assembly is obligated to observe the guiding values and principles of governance, including the rule of law, accountability, democracy, and participation of the peoples as enshrined in Article 10 of the Constitution. The County Assembly must take into account the overall suitability of a nominee with particular emphasis on integrity, honesty of persons entrusted with public resources. And the county, as the assembly, should reject the nominee of Mr. for failing to meet the requirements of Chapter 6. Observations: the affidavit was a written statement on oath, therefore complied with Section 710 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act of 2017. The next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sankor, and nominee for appointment as Chief Officer for Partnership, Liaison and Linkages. Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sankor was orally interviewed by the committee and responded on various issues as follows. Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sankor is a Kenyan citizen of ID number that and was born in Mandera County, 1988, but currently resides in Mailine, Kapsaos Ward. On educational background, Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sankor holds a Bachelor of Arts, International Relations and Diplomacy with IT from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University up to 2022. He has a diploma in Introduction to F-50 Cargo Operation, a bachelor's degree in Business Management, Human Resource Option from East African University. He did his KCSE in Sheikh Ali High School up to 1985. He is a member of Institute of Human Resource Management and full member of Protective and Safety Kenya. Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sankor submitted that he currently serves as a Director of Finance and Administration since 2013 at Ismax Security Limited. Before that, he served as an administration manager at Vicas Security Services up to 2013. He has also served as a pilot with
point of order
with iFly Air from 2020 to date.
Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. The said candidate was born in 1988. He did his KCSE in 1975 to 1985. Maybe clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is a concern from a member, and I want to thank him for being so vigilant. That must be a typo. I would wish to ask the clerk to refer to the original report from the committee so that we can clarify and get the correct dates when he was born. And thank you, member. Thank you for picking up that. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of integrity, it was cleared by KRA, ORPP, DCI, ESCC, and HELP. And on the suitability for the position, the nominee submitted to the committee all the documents are required as per the letter. And the committee was satisfied that the nominee had complied with and acquired the clearances from all those. The nominee further submitted and was also evident from the documents he submitted that he has not been charged in a court of law nor convicted. Neither was he adversely mentioned in any investigatory report of a county assembly or the commission. The nominee further submitted originals of his national ID and proof of Kenyan citizenship. Mr. Speaker, sir, the nominee's knowledge and understanding of matters partnerships, liaison and linkages was substantial. The nominee is a Kenyan citizen. His education, qualifications and experience meets the requirement to hold the office as a chief officer. The nominee satisfies the requirement of Article 77 of the Constitution, and he does not intend to participate in any other gainful employment, and that he does not hold office in any political party and has never been dismissed from office. Therefore, the nominee is generally fit to hold office as chief officer and complied with all the necessary legal, constitutional, statutory, academic, and professional and ethical requirements to hold the position of a chief officer. Mr. Speaker, the next nominee, Mr. Nahum Chelagat Tirop, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Youth and Sports. The committee, having considered the nominee's field questionnaire, CV, and having had oral submissions during the approval hearing, made the following observations. On academic qualifications, the nominee is ongoing with a master's degree at Kisii University, project management option, holds a Bachelor of Education Science, that is physics and mathematics, from University of Eldoret, and a bridging course from Moi University. That on employment record, the nominee has worked with different organizations like Transparency International, United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Young African Women Congress, and she was a nominated member of the county, was in Gishu County Assembly, that is the term of 2013 to 2017, representing the youth, coming up with bills that were successfully implemented. On integrity, the nominee had been cleared by KRA, DCI, ESCC, HELP, and she has all the certificates to that effect. Suitability for the position, that on the overall suitability for the position, the nominee has done extensive research on matters pertaining youth and sports, was in Gishu, demonstrated that she's a team player with excellent interpersonal leadership and communication skills. The nominee is very passionate and has experience about youth and sports. She has good academic credentials and vast knowledge on youth and sports, demonstrated good organizational and planning for progress achievement. Her academic qualification and working experience is relevant for the position. Lastly, she meets the Chapter 6 requirement of the Constitution. The next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mrs. Eunice Chemtai Suter, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Gender, Social Protection and Culture. Mrs. Chemtai Suter, Eunice Chemtai Suter, was orally vetted by the committee and responded to on various issues as follows. On background, she is a Kenyan citizen of ID number that and was born in Cheptongei, Marakwet in 1971. She holds a Master's of Philosophy in Educational Communication and Technology from Moi University 205 to 208. A degree in Education Arts from Kenyatta University. She did her KCSE in Moi Kapsawar Girls 1991 and prior to that in Mokwa Girls Secondary School 1989. Work experience and career progression, Mrs. Chemtai Eunice Suter submitted that she is currently the head of department guiding and counseling at St. Joseph Secondary School, Kapseret. She has served as a teacher for cumulative 25 years in various schools in the country. She indicated that she joined the civil service in 1998 as a teacher in St. Joseph Secondary School in Chepteret and rose through the ranks in the teaching profession to the current position as the head of department. She was cleared by the various agencies, KRA, DCI, ECC, HELP, and has all the requisite certificates to that effect. Suitability for the position, the nominee submitted to the committee all the documents required as per the letter sent by the clerk of the county assembly, and the nominee further submitted, and was also evident from the documents submitted that she has not been charged in a court of law nor convicted, neither was she adversely mentioned in any investigatory report of a county assembly or commission. The nominee further submitted originals of her national ID to prove her Kenyan citizenship. The nominee met all the academic requisite for the position applied for, that no affidavit was received from the public against Ms. Eunice Chemtai Suter. The nominee's knowledge and understanding of matters public service management was substantial, and the nominee is a Kenyan citizen. Education, qualifications, and experience meets the requirement to hold the office of a chief officer. The nominee satisfies the requirements of Article 77(1) of the Constitution, and she does not intend to participate in any other gainful employment, and that she does not hold office in any political party, and that she has never been dismissed from office. Therefore, the nominee is suitable to hold office as chief officer and complied with all the necessary legal, constitutional, statutory, academic, professional, and ethical requirements to hold the position of chief officer. The next nominee, Mr. Speaker, is Mr. Elijah Koech, nominee for appointment for Chief Officer, Agriculture and Agribusiness. That he applied for this position as Chief of Agriculture and Agribusiness because he has a wide range of knowledge and experience in business, having specialized in business management as a career development. That is fully aware of the governance agenda, that's Nguzo Kumi, on development plans to be implemented by the county government as far as the department is concerned. That is fully aware that agriculture and agribusiness is marred by various challenges in the county compared to the previous defunct authorities, and that is willing to consult with the Committee of Agriculture and Agribusiness. He recognizes that Uasin Gishu is a cosmopolitan town, and therefore he does not encourage any level of discrimination on farmers doing agriculture within the county, and he believes what the Constitution of Kenya holds the right to every citizen. On academic qualifications, the nominee also is pursuing Master of Business Management from Moi University, Bachelor of Business Management, Purchasing and Supplies Management from Moi University. He has a Diploma in Human Resource Management from Moi University. He has a KCSE from Chebororwo Secondary School and a KCPE from Kokwit Primary School. Employment record. He's been a lecturer at Moi University from 2014 to 2022. Was in Gishu Youth Community-Based Organization as a project manager 2013. He has worked at TechnoServe Kenya Associate Business Advisor 2015 to 2017. He has worked at Ways of Fund Kenya as a trainer from 2013 to 2014. He has worked also at Independent Elections and Boundaries Commission, Support Elections Trainer 2012 to 2013. On professional associations, Mr. Elijah Koech is a member of National Youth Bunge Association and a member of Red Cross Society, Red Cross Kenya. On potential conflict of interest, there was no area that could create any political conflict of interest according to the field questionnaire. On the overall suitability, he demonstrated that he's a team player, is willing to work with employees from other departments in executing his duties. He is ready to work with other stakeholders to formulate policies that will improve the status of farmers in Uasin Gishu, demonstrated leadership, negotiation, and mediation skills. Having worked with NGOs, he has an advantage of partnering with them to sponsor farming projects in the county. Through his line of career, he did not match, though his line of career did not match practical implementation of policies, he's willing to learn. Lastly, he meets Chapter 6 or requirements of the Constitution, because he is cleared by ESCC, KRA, HELP, DCI, CRB, and has certificates to that effect. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is the overall recommendations. As Mr. Speaker, sir, having considered the suitability, capacity, and integrity of the nominees, and pursuant to Section 30D and 45(1)B of the County Governments Act, Section 8(2) of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approvals Act Number 5 of 2017, the sectoral committees recommends that this House approves the nomination of 1. Ambrose Tarus as Chief Officer, Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. Number 2, Mrs. Ruth Samoei as Chief Officer, Education and Vocational Training. Number 3, Dr. Paul Wangwe Ongeti as Chief Officer, Clinical Services. Number 4, Mrs. Joyce Sang as Chief Officer, Promotive and Preventive Health. Mrs. Marion Chepkemboy Kitur, Chief Officer, Public Service Management. Mr. Julius Koech as Chief Officer, Housing and Urban Development. Mrs. Mary Chepkogei Karich as Chief Officer, Energy, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. Mr. Nixon Cheblong as Chief Officer, Livestock and Fisheries. Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget as Chief Officer, Finance. Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed Sangor to the position of Chief Officer, Partnership, Linkage, Liaison and Linkages. Mrs. Naum Chelagat Tirop as Chief Officer, Youth and Sports. Number 12, Mrs. Eunice Chemtai Suter as Chief Officer, Gender, Social Protection and Culture. Mr. Eliud Koech as Chief Officer, Agriculture and Agribusiness. In conclusion, therefore, on behalf of the 11 sectoral committees, let me register appreciation to the Office of the Speaker, the Office of the Clerk, to the County Assembly, and the Committee Secretariat for the logistical support and extended during the vetting process. I wish to extend my appreciation to the nominees for their cooperation during the vetting process. I also acknowledge and appreciate members of the committees for their patience, sacrifice, and commitment, which enabled the committees to complete the task within the required timelines. I urge this Honorable House to pass this report and approve the names of the nominees for appointment without amendments. Mr. Speaker, lastly, attached is the report on the vetting of the various respective chief officers. Mr. Speaker, sir, that must have been the longest report I've ever read. Nevertheless, I want to say, make a few comments. Number one, Mr. Speaker, as by law, the nomination of the said nominees was made to this House procedurally. The vetting and the procedure for vetting was done in accordance with the standing orders of this House. And as is provided for in our standing orders and in law, Mr. Speaker, the various committees were able to vet these nominees and considered their suitability of the various nominees. Mr. Speaker, I wish to report to the House that as read in the and contained in the reports of the various committees, Mr. Speaker, all the committees unanimously adopted their reports and recommended to this House that we approve all the names as provided for. The Speaker, when you consider, as we were vetting these nominees, you get a feeling that we have the right people. Because, Mr. Speaker, the grasp of the issues in the departments they are going to head. We know, Mr. Speaker, a chief officer is the accounting officer of a department. And therefore, we were very keen to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that we get the right people in these dockets, because every transaction of the department rests in the table of the chief officer. All the various committees, Mr. Speaker, considered these nominees. They were asked very hard questions, and all of them, Mr. Speaker, were able to answer appropriately. I wish to report to this House, Mr. Speaker, apart from one nominee, Mr. Speaker, who members of public gave a petition, and they also gave a written affidavit to the Committee on Budget and Finance. Mr. Speaker, that is Mr. Eliud Chemaget. Mr. Speaker, the committee deliberated on it, consulted the legal department, and Mr. Speaker, that gentleman was found to be fit to be in that office because, Mr. Speaker, the case that was cited by the petitioner who objected his nomination, Mr. Speaker, is still pending in court. And we know in this country, Mr. Speaker, you cannot be guilty until proven. We are not a court of law, Mr. Speaker, and therefore we followed all the rules and procedures. Therefore, this gentleman was found fit to hold that office, and we recommend that where the House approves all the names of all the others nominees. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish to request the House at this point in time. The vetting process was very laborious, and I want to commend all our committees. Mr. Speaker, you sit in any of our committees, and Mr. Speaker, you get the feeling and the quality of the questions that were asked by the members. And Mr. Speaker, I was so proud of the members, and I want to say, thank you, members, for actually taking to task these nominees, because we know that they are the people who are the custodians of the resources of this county, the custodians of the programs and projects that will be implemented in this county. Mr. Speaker, as an assembly, we will not end here. We will continuously monitor all the progress of the chief officers and the CECs in the various departments so that they deliver the services to the people of this great county of Uasin Gishu. Mr. Speaker, with those very many remarks, I wish to request the House to approve the list as provided by the various committees. I wish to commend also the Secretariat, though we have noted a few typos. So Speaker, we know that human is to error. I also realized that there were areas that, Mr. Speaker, needed to be improved. But nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, I wish to congratulate the members of the Secretariat because they did a wonderful job given the short time that they had, Mr. Speaker, to compile this report. They have done a good job. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I wish to request the House to approve, and at this point I wish to request the Honorable Isaac Samoei, who is my deputy, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The leadership of this assembly, I stand to second the motion by the leader of majority that this House approves all the 11 sectoral committee report as outlined in numbers number 1 to 13 by the nominating authority who is the governor of this county, Uasin Gishu. Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't want to repeat what has been said for the interest of time. Basically, for the benefit of the public and the great people of Uasin Gishu, appointment committee is a procedural, is a constitutional matter. And I want to echo all the sectoral committees who sat down, burned their midnight oil in sitting and having a report that all the said nominees be approved. Number 2, I want to thank the governor, Mr. Speaker, sir, in having faith in youth. In the 11 sectoral committees, out of the 13 chiefs officers, they are going to be passed in a matter of time, 4 of them are youths. They fall between age bracket of 32 years, 33 years, 34 years. I want to echo and congratulate Governor Kotimoja Biche Lilim. An example is Dr. Paul Wage, CEO for Health Service. At age 34 years of age, is going to be our CEO. Another example is Mr. Abdirahman Mohammed Sankor, age 34 years of age. And then another example is Naum Chelaga Tirop. Apparently, he was a member of this assembly in the first assembly. And we want to thank the governor for having faith in her and also in the greater people of Uasin Gishu, representing the youth. Another example is Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget. He is 34 years of age. So what does it show? It shows that our governor has faith in youth of this great county of Uasin Gishu. Number 3, in seconding the report, I want to laud the governor also, Mr. Speaker, sir, by creating a new department, CEO for liaison, partnership, and international linkages. For the last 10 years, this position was not there. But with the great wisdom and education of the governor, this position is going to assist the great people of Uasin Gishu County, because we want to tap the resources, both locally and internationally. And by saying so, the person who has been nominated for that position, Mr. Mohammed Sankor, he has a great knowledge, expertise, and he is going to be beneficial. And I am proud as a leader of Kapsaos Ward for governor for nominating him Mr. Sankor, from a small community in this county, the Muslim. We want to say thank you, Mr. Governor. And then lastly, in supporting this motion, as a member of finance, as a deputy chair of finance, the affidavit by Mr. Aaron Kiprotich Rono against the nomination of CEO Finance. As a committee, we sat down, Mr. Speaker, and for the interest of this assembly, and by the law established, even affidavit has been sworn and brought to this house. One, we see the threshold. Yes, it met the threshold. But also, we want to see the content in it. If it has any merit in approving or disapproving. And I want to report to this house that the affidavit had raised a lot of issues. But critically, as Committee of Finance, we found those allegations as baseless. They were witch-hunting. They were just sabotages. They are just hot air, as the way presented by the Honorable Supreme Court case against retired Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. So, it's only that there was omission from the clerk of finance. We sat and we approved the suitability of this said candidate. And we found in education is qualified for that position. Even though he has an active case in court, the matter has not been determined. So, by the law established, he is still innocent. And we find him fit to all that position. Those recordings must be captured clearly, because these issues has generated a lot of heat and debate in this county government of Wasingi. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to support the motion by the leader of majority by saying, this honorable assembly, let us approve all the list without amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I now propose a question that, having considered the suitability, capacity, and integrity of the nominees pursuant to Section 30D and 45(1)(b) of County Government Act, Section 8(2) of the Public Appointments, County Assembly's Approval Act Number 5, 2017, the sectoral committees recommend that this House approve the nomination of 1. Mr. Ambrose Tarus, Chief Officer, Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. 2. Ms. Ruth Samoe, Chief Officer, Education and Vocational Training. Dr. Paul Wangwe Ongeti, Chief Officer, Clinical Service. Mrs. Joyce Sang, Chief Officer, Promotive and Preventive Health. Mrs. Marion Chepkemboi Kitur, Chief Officer, Public Service Management. Mr. Julia Sang Koech, Chief Officer, Housing and Urban Development. Ms. Mary Chepkosgei Kerich, Chief Officer, Energy, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resource. Mr. Nixon Chaplong, Chief Officer, Livestock and Fisheries. Mr. Eliud Kipkorir Chemaget, Chief Officer, Finance. Mr. Abdirahman Mohamed Sankor, Chief Officer, Partnership Liaison Linkages. Mrs. Naomi Chalaga Tirop, Chief Officer, Youth and Sports. Mrs. Eunice Chemutai Suter, Chief Officer, Gender, Social Protection and Culture. Mr. Elijah Koech as Chief Officer, Agriculture and Agribusiness. Debate. Honorable Caroline Sharon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I rise to support the adoption of the report on the vetting of nominees for appointment of chief officers by the sectoral committees that has been tabled today in this House. As alluded by the leader of government business and his deputy, this process was done procedurally.
Honorable Cherono, honorable members, let's limit our questions to 2 minutes each. Okay.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I should have sat as you spoke, but well noted. and 2 minutes, I'll stick by it. So as I was saying, this process was done procedurally, and at this point, we are at a point where we can simply append our voice in the approval of these nominees. Making reference to the Public Appointments and Approvals Act, County Assembly's County Approval Act, on matters, time and place, it was sufficiently communicated to the public, Honorable Speaker. It was communicated earlier on by the Leader of Majority that it was communicated on 20th of January 2023, and the public were able to know the time and the place where this vetting was going to take place. And that then acts as a yardstick against which we can measure matters, transparency and openness of the process. All the vetting sessions that were done, specifically in these chambers, were aired live on our social media platforms, specifically the Wasingishu County Assembly, the Champions YouTube channel. It was also aired on the Facebook pages. So there was a lot of transparency throughout the process, Honorable Speaker. Point to note also is the issues of consideration, and which has been dealt with in detail by the Leader of Government Business. On suitability of these candidates, specifically on their abilities, most of these candidates, as a general observation, were all young and vibrant and very energetic, which is a good attribute for this position. On matters experience, there was one nominee of health, one Dr. Wangwe, who specifically has led previously the Malava and Matungu hospitals as head of department, and I believe it's the same experience that is going to transition into this particular role if given this chance. Most of these nominees are people who showed a lot of a track record on vision and leadership, and that they are self-driven. And so I believe the CEO position is actually a leadership role, and I believe that they are going to take up these positions even as they reap or they feed off their previous experience. Someone like Eliud Chemaget, who has actually been talked about at length, is someone who is coming in with the experience in the banking, basically commercial finance, and I believe that being CEO finance in the county will impact much the fact that it's something he has dealt with in the past. On academic credentials, I was greatly impressed by most nominees. Somebody like Wangwe, again, who has a background in dentistry and having run a private enterprise successfully. It's actually a brand that is well known in Eldoret, but I didn't know this is the young man, the youthful mind that we are bringing in as the CEO, should this House approve this report today. This is someone who has even gone out of his way to study extra languages like French.
Honorable, your time is up. Maybe you can conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've overstepped my time. And in conclusion, I'm requesting this House that it adopts this report without any amendments. Thank you.
Honorable Moses Kibene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me take this opportunity also to thank each member and all the sectorial committee for the work well done. Secondly, I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Governor of Wasingishu County for giving us these names, or forwarding the names of the nominees to this Honorable House. When you look at the composition of all the CEOs, the composition was well balanced, both academic and professionalism on how the nominees were nominated. For example, when you go to academics, you will see we had two CEOs, let me not mention their names. When you look at the academics in Form 4, the way they performed in Form 4 and the way they have progressed, some of them didn't do very well in high school, but they have progressed and they have picked from there Currently, some of them, they are doing PhD and others are doing, they are doing their masters. At that point, I think that is an encouragement to some of our students who may be thinking that Form 4, if they are not doing very well in Form 4, that is the end of their life. But these people, or these the nominees here, they burned the midnight oil and they progressed and they have been doing very well academically until now. They have been nominated as the CEOs of the county. I totally pray that this House will adopt and pass all the nominees as per the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Jonathan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also join my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, in thanking the committees, the sectorial committees, together with our secretariat, while coming up with this report, Mr. Speaker. And I also approve the nomination of the nominees, Mr. Speaker, sir, by approving the report read by the leader of majority. Mr. Speaker, all of them meet the minimum requirement to be the CEOs of the various sectors. They showed energy, Mr. Speaker, the passion to work with us, and the passion to implement the agendas of the county government of Uasin Gishu, both the Nguzo Kumi of the governor and our various agendas for the people, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, at this point, and going by the 10th and the previous discussion and engagement by members, we are going to approve the names. My only challenge, Mr. Speaker, is now to them. They told us that they are capable. We are likely to give them the mandate. We want to send a signal to them that if they fail to work, they will also face us here at the county assembly. These are the people, Mr. Speaker, whom the implementation programs of our county relies on. They should be ready to work under a lot of pressure, because we are also, as leaders, under pressure and as mandated by the Constitution to provide services for our people. After the approval, Mr. Speaker, we will not have any reason as to why services are not taken to the ground. I want to urge the chairs of various sectorial committees that these are the people that we need to put them on task. We'll just allow the governor, swear in them, take them for some induction. They should be very ready for the tire to meet the road. Failure to which they should also be ready to face this county assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the report has just said that we approve without amendments, I think in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, you will allow the Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, to do some amendments. One, on typos. Number two, Mr. Speaker, if you critically look at it and analyze some other wordings, Mr. Speaker, it might give us some issues here and there. So I would have wished, Mr. Speaker, that after today's approval, we just do amendments on some few areas of typos and grammar, Mr. Speaker, so that our report will go well. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is a document that will be in our archives. It will be used after this. Maybe the petitioners would want to see this report. Others would want to do what? So, Mr. Speaker, I think you will allow that so that we can move forward. With those many remarks, I support the motion moved by Leader of Majority on the approval of the 13 names. Thank you.
Honorable Rebecca.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also rise in support of this motion that all the nominees to be approved I want to thank the committees for sitting down and going through this vetting process. I also want to congratulate them for making to this far. I want to thank our governor for nominating and bringing to this house professionals in the departments, because that is exactly what we were looking for. We want things to be done professionally in our departments. Uasin Gishu County needs services, and the people to implement these services are the chief officers. I want also to thank our Governor Chelilim for nominating 6 women. In his 13 CEOs that came to this house for approval, 6 of them are women. So we women outside there, the many women of Uasin Gishu, are very proud of our governor for remembering to give us opportunity to serve the people of Uasin Gishu. I want to urge women that has been nominated to serve in this position to make sure that they serve more than they could. I want them to prove that they can do better than men, as it has always been said. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm very grateful to the governor of Uasin Gishu County for remembering us and giving us this position. I want also to conclude by saying, I want to urge the people that have been nominated and approved in this house today that the task ahead of them is big. We are already have a financial year, and we need to work with speed in the next few months before the end of the financial year. So I stand to support the nomination of the members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Evans. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I stand to support the motion brought by the Leader of Majority. And having looked at the report on academic qualification of the nominees, that 5 of them have masters in different fields. 5 of them are ongoing. They are doing their masters. And we are praying that they now apply the knowledge that they have in service delivery. And Mr. Speaker, we also want to thank the governor for creating 2 departments in health. Now that we have the clinical and we have the other one for preventive and promotive. And as the members of the health committee, of which I'm one of them, we were very keen on trying to look at if there will be any conflict. But after oral submission of the 2 nominees, we realized that they understand their roles and there will be no conflict in that department. And Mr. Speaker, we also want to congratulate the governor as one of the youths in Uasin Gishu County for trusting and believing in us and nominating Eliud Jemaket as the CEO for finance. And I believe and I have confidence and I have looked at his experience that he will deliver and he will ensure that all of them, the 13 nominees, they exercise their accountability. And Mr. Speaker, we are very keen on service delivery as the representatives of the people, and we will put them on task after passing the names or their nominees and approving them to serve. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate the 13 nominees and pray that they work on service delivery. Thank you.
Honorable Songok. 1 minute, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to support the report being moved by Leader of Government Business, that the 13 names of the 11 sectorial committees be approved in this House. Honorable Speaker, having considered the suitability for the 13 nominees, I found that all of them have demonstrated the team player. All of them are ready to work with the people of Uasin Gishu upon their areas that has been placed, that all of them will consider elevating the lives of many to the next level. Again, I've seen that all of them have also shown the experience they have upon the research. All of them have gone even up to 28 years of working experience. And that one demonstrates that all of them have the capacity to perform to the people of Uasin Gishu. The only thing that I require from them is the passion, what they have in their hearts to deliver to the people of Uasin Gishu. I think that one, Honorable Speaker, I stand to say thank you to all the sectorial committees for doing their due diligence to see that they provide to this Uasin Gishu the most experienced people. Thank you very much. I want to say I support the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable members, for that contribution. I now put a question that this county assembly do adopt the report on vetting of nominees for appointment as chief officers by sectoral committees dated 10th February 2023 and is tabled in the House today, 14 February 2023, with or without amendments. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, since there is no any other business, this House stand adjourned to tomorrow 9:30 a.m. Thank you so much.